You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. I don't know if it was LSU going 8-4. I don't know if it was having Bryce Underwood snatched from their grips. I don't know if it was Brian Kelly's $1 million challenge, his challenge on signing day, or TAF involving themselves in Bayou traditions, whatever it was. And the truth is, it was probably a combination of all of the above. LSU boosters have engaged, and they are in, brother. They are in. And LSU has money to spend, and my goodness, are they spending it. They have flipped on its head the narrative about LSU being, quote-unquote, poor or not having money or not supporting NIL. I'm not sure if you got the absolute latest, but the latest is just within the last hour, something that we did expect, so much so that at Louisiana Sports.net, we already had the article written and the graphic done. But the absolute latest is that Texas defensive lineman Sydir Mitchell has committed to LSU. Another premier prize portal addition for the Tigers in this transfer portal class, with the former Texas defensive tackle committing to LSU on Friday. I'll tell you the impact significance of this in just a quick second. Here's Brian Doan, a national recruiting analyst for 24/7 Sports. His thoughts on Sydir Mitchell.
Every recruit I talk to that deals with Bo Davis, they don't just say, yeah, he's a good guy. They love him. I mean, Bo Davis has an ability to connect with the kids, and he did that with Sydir Mitchell. He made Sydir believe, listen, yeah, we can play you with the nose, we can play you with the 3-tech, but you can move around on the interior of the defensive line. And I think when you watch Sydir, you see the tape right there. And like I've mentioned, I've seen him play in camp several times. You understand the athleticism is there. And so he can move around on that defense. And he's not just one guy who can play a nose and that's it. And I think that's something really valuable for you're facing these high tempo offenses where you can change a little bit what you want to do defensively up front with him and not, you don't have to take him out of the game.
So a perspective from someone who's seen Mitchell play a good bit. On our lists here on the show of wants, needs, and musts, I had, again, just my opinion, I had defensive tackle as a need. Again, just to kind of clarify, for those who haven't heard me talk about this before, a want is something you'd like to have, but it would feel like a little bit of a luxury, like a running back. Feel really good about the running back room next year. You'd like to go add someone with a little more experience, maybe a little veteran presence, but that's a want. You can do very well with what you have. A need is something that, boy, you can figure it out, like offensive line. You can figure it out. You got a bunch of guys you've recruited really well, but you don't have at all as experience next year. As a need, you need to go address offensive line. Must is, it's not even debate. Like, whatever you have to do, you will add players at that position, like tight end, for example, need. Safety is a need that they still have, or excuse me, is a must. Tight end was a must. When we look at needs, I had defensive tackle at need. You could make do with the guys you have coming back. Jacobian Guillory coming off of injury. Don McKinley, Ahmad Bro had really good freshman seasons. You got Sean Washington coming back. You got 4 signees coming in. So you got plenty of numbers. And you got some experience, some young guys. That's a need. Like, you needed to go add another veteran body. And you did. So as a recruit, Sydir Mitchell, 6'6", 320, is a 4-star, ranked number 226 overall in the country. For what it's worth, there's all the different services, right? ESPN ranks Sydir Mitchell coming out of New Jersey as the number 6 defensive tackle in the country. When you look at Bo Davis went to New Jersey and recruited Sydir Mitchell to get him to Austin. And when you look at his productivity, he redshirted as a freshman and then played in 5 games this past year. So in 2 seasons, Sydir Mitchell had just 7 tackles. But Bo Davis wanted Sydir Mitchell out of high school. And when he went in the portal, Bo Davis wanted Sydir Mitchell out of the portal. The question I would ask you is, do you trust Bo Davis? When you look at Sydir Mitchell, there is one thing that is very obvious that stands out about Mitchell as opposed to every other guy on this defensive line. He's 6'6", 350 pounds. You don't have anybody 6'6", 350. Now, Don McKinley, when he signed, was pushing 330, 6'6", pushing 330, but he lost a little weight. As he told us here on the show, he needed to lose, bad weight. But 6'6", 350, you don't have a dude like that. And sometimes those dudes that are that big, they're not going to be the most dynamic playmaker stuff in the stat sheet, but what they are space eaters. They eat up blocks, they push the middle, and they free up other guys to make plays. Mitchell's an interesting case because when the portal opened, there were reports he was going to go in the portal. He then said he was going to stay, and then he ultimately hit the portal, and now he's committed to LSU. You know, when you look at what LSU is losing on the defensive line this year, you're losing a lot of guys that took a lot of snaps for you this year. But you're not losing a ton of high-level productivity. Like, Gio Paez played 387 defensive snaps for you this year. He's obviously out of eligibility. JVR Suggs played 59 defensive snaps for you. He was just a specialized interior rusher. Now, I wish JVR Suggs was back. He was very good at that role. But that was his role. He wasn't going to be a 40, 50 snap per game guy. Paris Shan played 414 snaps. But again, he played inside and out. Very versatile player for you. But again, not a dynamic player. Jalen Lee's out of eligibility. Demyron Johnson, the freshman, hit the transfer portal. But that's what you're losing at defensive tackle this year. When you look at what you get back, Jacobian Guillory is returning for his sixth season. He only played 39 snaps this year because he was injured in the second week. But that's a guy coming into this year that was supposed to be your best interior defensive lineman. He very well could be your best guy next year coming off of injury. Don McKinley, as a freshman, played 123 snaps. Ahmad Bro played 249 snaps. Sean Washington, I didn't realize Sean Washington played as much as he did. He played 100 snaps this year. I mean, contrast that to JVR Suggs, who played 59. But Guillory, McKinley, Washington, Bro, those four are all back. Now you add Sydir Mitchell, guy entering his third year, 6'6", 350. That's 5. And then the 4 freshman signees you're bringing in, that's 9 defensive tackles right there. That doesn't even count a guy like Kimo Makanayoli if he comes back. There's Jalen Johnson, who you brought in from Memphis as a transfer last year, who could add some depth. I guess my point is, your numbers are, you have plenty of numbers at defensive tackle. You got a stud coming back in Guillory. McKinley and Bro with super high ceilings. Washington and Mitchell, who are big body dudes that could plug the middle for you. And 4 signees coming in to give you young depth. All of a sudden, that defensive tackle room looks good. And it's no coincidence, y'all. It is no coincidence that in LSU's dominant era, defensive tackle was elite. Shad Lavallee, consensus All-American. Glenn Dorsey, consensus All-American. Kyle Williams, Claude Roten, Drake Nevis, Michael Brockers, Benny Logan. LSU went 12 consecutive NFL drafts having a defensive lineman pick. Now, that includes the ends, but you went a dozen consecutive drafts from 2004 with Lavallee and Marcus Spears and Marquise Hill that year as well, to 2015. The 04 to 2015 drafts. Every year for a dozen years, you had a defensive lineman picked. And since then, you've had some guys that have played well. Devon Gottschall was a really good player. Rashard Lawrence became a very good player. Jaquelin Roy, Neil Farrell. Last year was Smith, Wingo, Jefferson. These guys are really good players. Guys that were good college players went and got drafted, but you've not had the elite level All-American defensive lineman in more than a decade now. It's time for that to change. Bo Davis is the guy. Bo Davis is the guy to get that talent here and to develop that talent into those dominant All-American players that LSU had when they were winning championships. See if he can do it with this group. And the newest member is Sydir Mitchell, coming in from Texas out of the transfer portal. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.